Miss Hightower makes her living as a stripper. So why is her fiancé receiving exotic pictures from another woman? Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding.
Hello, everyone. You may be seated.
Your Honor, the case of Hightower v. Trimble.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hightower and Ms. Trimble. Welcome to Divorce Court. Thank you very much for trusting us with your relationship. Welcome to Divorce Court, and thank you all for joining us today. This is a young couple who've been together for 4 years. They got engaged 20 minutes after they met, for all practical purposes. Let's see if they're ever going to walk down the aisle. I'll start with you, Ms. Hightower. Why are we in court today?
Well, Your Honor, when I first met Mariya, I was in a bad space. I was facing homelessness, deep depression, and she pulled me out of that. She showed me what love was supposed to be like and how you're supposed to be treated. But now we're at the point of where our communication is off. I feel like I get ganged up on with my children, our co-parenting, and I believe she might be cheating. And if she's cheating, she can have this ring back. I can't do it.
So all of the good things, the knight in shining armor that started off has changed for you.
Yes.
I'm going to turn to you, Ms. Trimble. Ms. Hightower says that you were a blessing in her life when you all first started out. What say you, ma'am?
Yes, so this was the love of my life, and still is. Her and her children, they mean the world to me, and I want to save this relationship, and I'm here to get help from you.
So let's see if this relationship can be saved, because you made a commitment before you actually knew each other.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were going through a little bit of a depression, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Hightower, during the time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But Ms. Trimble helped pull you out of that depression?
Yes, ma'am, she sure did.
But now you're worried, because I understand that the defendant is not happy with your profession. Am I correct?
No, ma'am. So currently, I am an exotic dancer. I've been doing that for 5 years. Before I met Mariya, she knew that's what I was doing. She knew what she was coming into.
Okay.
We're gonna basically go into a situation. I had a photo shoot. I got asked to do some pictures, and it was for free. And I thought I should, use this as a stepping stone for our relationship as well.
Now, you know I'm gonna tell you right now, anytime somebody say it's free, my brain says what I gotta do for the free. Okay? I'm just gonna say that.
Understandable.
Okay.
So when he offered it free,
operative word he.
He offered it free. I got 13 brothers. I know how to do what I gotta do when it comes to that. Cool. So we get to the photo shoot. She started to, look a little off while I'm talking to him, and I'm not understanding why. And basically what it is, she's learning in the conversation that I don't know him. So she didn't like that. She questioned our safety, and then we started to go into the photo shoots. I'm taking the pictures. She's standing directly across from me. He can't see her, but I can see her. She's mugging. She's doing this, looking at me like that.
Oh, giving a stank face?
Yes, while I'm working. So I'm like, I've given you the opportunity. I tell you everything. I show you, hey, this is his work. This is his person. So it's not like you didn't see who he
prior
was.
to, you told me about a situation of your coworker being sexually assaulted, and then we turn around and we're in a basement area somewhere that we don't know.
But I brought my person there to make sure I was okay. I didn't go there by myself like my coworker did.
The two of you weigh $105 dripping wet.
Yes.
Okay? Let's live in the truth. Now, if you told me you brought Corey, ex-military, put a person in a headlock in a minute, okay, then I feel a lot better. But somebody could knock either one of you out, bind you, and put one of you in the corner and abuse you by yourself. Corey, would you let your child go?
No.
He just did 11 no's.
Yeah. And Your Honor, I understand that. So I just try to keep her safe before we are into situations like that, because, like we said, I only weigh about 140 here. So trying to fight off a grown man is difficult.
Okay, you all are definitely gonna have to put some boundaries in place. Because Ms. Hightower, if this is your chosen profession, you need to make sure your partner is gonna feel like you're safe and that she's safe.
I feel like we can do something other than dancing. It's plenty other things that we can do.
I stopped dancing for 2 months for you.
But then when we got back to it, Your Honor,
2 months
then we
later,
go to raunchy pictures and legs wide open on Instagram and twerking videos. And I actually have a video of that twerking video.
Okay. Well, that's it. I'm sorry. That's exotic dancing. Okay.
And my thing is, we couldn't have just cleaned up the kitchen and the rooms before
Oh my
we
God.
posted these videos.
Okay.
We got the laundry still in the video. We washing the sheets.
Okay. You
I will
posted
clean up.
that publicly.
Yes, but the thing about it is, if you would read the quote and the person who's tagged in the video, all of those for that song, everyone made a video in their basic surroundings of what's there.
But do you really want to convey that to the public?
No, it's literally because of the type of song it is. It's just a promotion video for Erica Banks. That's just all I was doing, and it's just up there, and it also helps me get booked for parties.
So I want to talk to
That's how I
you,
make money.
Miss Hightower. You don't get booked for gigs wearing a bonnet with laundry in the back. That's not the way it's gonna work. Not that I'm an expert on the kind of work you do, but you're selling a fantasy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? That's not a fantasy.
I get
so
that.
you need
I
to
still get
brand
booked.
yourself. But do you get booked by people that you want to get booked by so that you can make money so that you can decide to do something else?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you want to do something else?
I do want to do something else, and she knows I want to do something
You
else.
have a 9 and 11-year-old daughter.
I sure do, but also too, when things come about where money has to get made quickly, I'm used to me having to be able to come up with everything. I don't have nobody else. I didn't grow up in a 2-parent household.
Miss Trimble, do you help with the household bills?
Your Honor, I take care of most of the household. I'm the one who, like we said, got her from depression and homelessness. So I take care of most of the load. No matter when she can't have it, I have it.
Is that fair, Miss Hightower?
It's fair to a certain extent. Yes, when in the beginning of our relationship, yes, you did do everything a lot. Because I didn't have nothing. All I knew was dancing. All I knew was to go take off my clothes to make money.
But when you know better, you do better.
Exactly, and I
It's
did.
time.
And I did do better. I got a job. But when we were about to be homeless and we didn't have no money, she didn't say he have a problem with me going to make the money then. When my kids needed this or my mama needed something quickly and you don't want to give it because it's your money, where it's gonna come from?
It sounds like Miss Trimble stepped in, quote, with a little bit of a savior situation, and you allowed that situation, and then the two of you go back to your respective corners when the situation gets tough. That's why getting engaged 20 minutes after you meet is not a good idea. You need to learn more about each other. Now you think that Miss Trimble is cheating. Where does that come from?
She thought it was okay to show me a text message that she was having with her and her coworker. She shows me a wet stain in the bed.
Miss Trimble, I'm gonna turn to you before she even finishes the story.
And I even have the picture here too for y'all to see, because she kept it.
Now you think that Miss Trimble is cheating. Where does that come from?
We were having a conversation, and then all of a sudden she thought it was okay to show me a text message that she was having with her and her coworker. And she is also a lesbian. She has a girlfriend, supposedly at the time. She shows me a stain in the bed. And I was like, she sent you this picture? She was like, yeah, you know, they were having sex, I guess, and that's what she made her do. And I said, well, how did we get to this point where we're comfortable to send a picture like that? I don't respect it.
I agree with you on that. Miss Trimble, I'm gonna turn to you before she even finishes the story.
And I even have the picture here too for y'all to see.
Oh wait,
Because she kept it.
Your Honor, in my defense,
that's nasty.
Yeah, very.
In my defense, Your Honor, in lesbian relationships, we have more open conversations.
Not all lesbian relationships. Y'all just as depressed and repressed as the rest of us, okay? Don't even try it.
Friend-wise, my friends-wise, we're more open.
Thank you. All right,
my
thank
friends
you.
are
Thank
more
you.
open with each other, with conversations and situations when we're in relationships. So I do have a dentistry friend that has only been my friend. We have had discussions about things like
Have you
that.
all ever been intimate?
No.
Ever?
No.
So you're telling me this is your usual playfulness.
Yes, conversation.
And you giggled and you thought it was funny.
Yes.
It's real
Because
funny.
that's your relationship.
Yes.
But you had a problem with that,
I
right,
got a
Ms.
big
Hightower?
problem with it, because let me do it, it's gonna be an issue. A big issue. Whether it be male or female. I don't like that. I don't understand it. So after that,
Did you express that to Miss Trimble?
I sure did. I told her you shouldn't be friends with her. And to the point where we even went to a family member who's a therapist, and they basically let me know, like, I agree with you. That's not okay, right? You shouldn't be doing that. But at the same time, you can't pick her friends. But we came to the conclusion she wouldn't, you know, talk to her no more at all.
Did you agree with that, Ms. Trimble?
I did.
She did. But
I did.
But it was a lie.
Lied completely.
Well, I did stop talking to her, Your Honor. We didn't have any conversations for a few months, but we did pick back conversation.
Did you share it with Ms. Hightower that you had picked back up the friendship?
No.
So that you know that's where the problem is. See, I can cut to the chase with one question because that was a lack of communication.
Yeah, very much so.
And you all were not being honest with each other.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm assuming Ms. Trimble missed her friendship with this young woman, and you still had said we had rules. Were the rules reciprocal? Did she have to cut off some people when y'all got together?
I cut off everyone. Everyone when we got together. I have no one that I speak to.
But it's so interesting. You say nothing has ever happened, Ms. Trimble. Am I correct?
She lied about this Christmas party. She slept with somebody at her job. She had a Christmas party that was supposed to be a Christmas party, but it was actually the girl's birthday party, and you lied to me about it. And I wouldn't have known this if she wouldn't have sent the picture cheesing with y'all next to each other. Thank you for coming to my party.
So that was a setup. Side chicks ain't loyal, Ms. Trimble. They'll tell it in a minute.
Well, Your Honor, in my defense, like I said, I did not do anything with this girl at her party. So.
But you knew you were supposed to have cut this relationship off.
Correct.
And you posed for pictures.
Correct.
And those pictures were published publicly.
Correct.
And you knew that once Ms. Hightower found out about it, she was not gonna like it. And so there's a reason that she's suspicious, which is why we are here and why you both petitioned this court for a polygraph examination.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
Ms. Trimble willingly submitted to a polygraph examination that was performed by you. Ms. Trimble, have you had any sexual contact with that coworker who sent you inappropriate texts? What was Ms. Trimble's answer?
Her answer to that was no.
And what did the test results indicate?
The polygraph examination results indicated
Will you please ask the polygraph examiner to join us, Corey?
Sure thing.
Because, you know, I have to always get to the bottom of where the conflict is. And people usually trust each other until there's a reason not to trust each other. And now I understand why Ms. Hightower had some issues and some questions, Ms. Trimble. Good day, sir.
Good day, Your Honor.
Would you please introduce yourself for the court?
My name is John Yarbrough. I'm a certified polygraph examiner, also a member of the American Polygraph Association. I've conducted hundreds of polygraphs for law enforcement and other state public agencies, as well as professional and private polygraphs.
And I have found you to be more than qualified to conduct the polygraph examinations for this court. Thank you very much. Mr. Yarbrough, Ms. Trimble willingly submitted to a polygraph examination that was performed by you, and I asked you to put 2 questions to her. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Trimble, have you had any sexual contact with that coworker who sent you inappropriate texts? What was Ms. Trimble's answer?
Ms. Trimble answered yes to that question.
Oh, so we did do that.
So there was
great.
a self-admission.
There was a self-admission.
Mr. Yarbrough, did you modify the question?
Yes, ma'am, I did. During the self-admission, she had stated that it had only been on one occasion. So in order to determine if that was a truthful statement, I modified the question to read, other than what you told me about today, have you had any other sexual contact with that coworker?
And what was Ms. Trimble's answer?
Her answer to that was no.
And what did the test results indicate?
The polygraph examination results indicated there was no deception indicated to that question.
So we have to ask some more questions when we get the result of the second question.
Yeah.
Mr. Yarbrough, we asked Ms. Trimble, other than what you told me about since starting your relationship with Ms. Hightower, have you had sexual contact with anyone else besides Ms. Hightower?
Well, that was one of the questions I had to modify as well. Because of the self-admission, she had already stated that there had been one sexual contact with that coworker.
When?
So when I modified that question to say, other than the one time you told me about, were there any other times that you had sexual contact with anyone other than Ms. Hightower?
What was Ms. Trimble's answer?
Her answer was no.
What did the test results indicate?
The polygraph examination results indicated there was no deception.
I don't care if there was no deception or not. When did you get to do that the first time? Where was I?
Ladies, Mr. Yarbrough, your work here is done, but you done caused a controversy today. Thank you, Mr. Yarbrough. Thank you, Mr. Yarbrough. I know you have questions, Ms.
I
Hightower.
got a lot of questions, because when the hell did you get to do that? You got so much to say what I got to do to try to make money, and that's not even doing nothing. But yet, you can go do that for free? Okay, that's funny.
I'm gonna turn it over to you, Ms. Trimble.
Well, I want to just say I apologize. I don't want to go back and forth with that. I do apologize. But it was one night after I dropped you off at a party.
Ms. Trimble, here's my question. You knew what Ms. Hightower's suspicions were. How long ago did this occur?
About 3 months ago.
Ms. Trimble, why didn't you have a conversation with Ms. Hightower while the controversies were going on?
Just dealing with her aftermath and reactions. I just kind of did not want to go through that.
Did you not anticipate that it would be more traumatic for her to hear of your infidelity in this setting rather than in her home with the person that she loves?
You're right.
See, relationships require honesty, and they also require courteousness. Ms. Hightower, how does this make you feel?
I'm hurt. Like, why would you do that? I don't even really do relationships, and I chose to do this with you, and you know what I've been through, so I'm good. You can have this.
Ms. Trimble, short-term decisions have long-term ramifications. You all were building a family, and the things that you described during the early part of the case were something that you can 100% get over because it's just style and communication. But trust takes years to build and seconds to destroy. And that's what we just dealt with. Ms. Hightower, you know that therapy that you did earlier on? I think you need to do some more for yourself. That doesn't have anything to do with couples. It has to do with you and what it is that you want out of life. What do you want for yourself? What are your dreams and hopes and aspirations? Because if you really want to raise two little girls to be strong women, I'd like to see some co-parenting from Ms. Trimble if you think that would benefit. But I don't think that you two of you are mature enough in relationship building to be together, and that's a poor example for those little girls. You started off as friends, and you started off as a great parental figure, and if you can find it in your space to include Ms. Trimble in that, that would benefit your girls because they would miss the relationship that they've built, and you both agree with that.
Yes.
But this is not the time for you to be together. This is the time for you to get yourselves together. Ms. Trimble, you have to do a real evaluation on what made you step out of your relationship. And until you can become a whole person yourself, you can't bring a whole person to a relationship.
Yes, ma'am.
It's time to make new lives. Co-parenting with the young people that you are parenting, but also getting yourselves together so that you can be whole people. This relationship is done. That's my verdict.
Made in Georgia.